Lily Carter's bright future was stolen in one horrifying night, but the real shock came when investigators uncovered the truth. Her best friend, Emily Hayes, wasn't just mourning her death, she was hiding the darkest secret of all. On a chilly autumn morning, the peaceful town awoke to a nightmare that no one could have imagined. A pair of joggers, making their usual run through the forest path, stumbled across something that froze them in their tracks. At first, they thought it was a mannequin tossed aside, but as they drew closer, the horrifying reality became clear. The lifeless body of a young teenage girl lay in the undergrowth, unclothed, her pale skin contrasting with the damp brown leaves beneath her. The stillness of the scene was suffocating. There were no obvious wounds, no signs of a fight, and no belongings around her that might have given immediate answers. It was as if she had been placed there intentionally, hidden, yet exposed in a way that sent shivers down the spine. Police were called instantly, and within minutes the quiet woods became a scene of urgency. Yellow tape marked the boundaries, crime scene technicians combed through every inch, and officers worked to shield the grim discovery from onlookers gathering nearby. The community, small and tightly knit, had rarely seen such a dark event. The town's residents whispered in disbelief as word spread. Parents clutched their children a little tighter, students texted each other frantically, and social media lit up with speculation about who the girl could be and what had happened to her. Investigators noted details with precision. The ground showed faint tire tracks a few feet away, though they were blurred by the morning dew. No footprints suggested anyone had approached from the usual trails, and the body itself had been placed in a strange position, as though someone wanted it found but not immediately explained. The absence of clothing added another layer of mystery, fueling theories of assault, humiliation, or a staged cover-up. Detectives worked carefully, collecting fibers, soil samples, and hair strands that might reveal the truth later in the lab. As the coroner prepared to move the body, a heavy silence fell over the crowd of officers. Whoever she was, she had been someone's daughter, someone's friend, and her final moments were now hidden behind an unsettling puzzle of clues. The shock of the discovery rattled the entire town, igniting fear that a predator might be roaming free or that something far more sinister had unfolded in the shadows of their quiet community. For investigators, the case had only just begun, but already it carried the weight of secrecy and danger that promised nothing about it would be ordinary. Within hours of the grim discovery, the victim was identified as 17-year-old Lily Carter. Her name spread quickly across the town, echoing through classrooms, workplaces, and family homes. Lily had been known as a bright and ambitious teenager, someone who dreamed of leaving her small hometown to study fashion design in the city. Teachers remembered her as creative and hardworking, while friends described her as the life of every gathering. The contrast between her vibrant personality and the lifeless body found in the woods sent shockwaves through the community. It was no longer just a case of a nameless girl in the forest, it was Lily, a face everyone knew. Investigators retraced Lily's final steps to piece together her last night alive. Security footage showed her arriving at a friend's house party not far from her neighborhood. She appeared cheerful at first, chatting and laughing with classmates, but witnesses later revealed that her mood shifted. Near midnight, she was seen leaving the party abruptly, her expression tense. Some said she looked upset, others claimed she was on her phone, possibly texting someone, but no one followed her out. From that moment, Lily vanished into the night. Detectives dug deeper into her social media accounts, scrolling through her posts and private messages. At first, everything seemed normal: photos of school events, sketches of fashion designs, cheerful updates. But buried among them were cryptic notes, vague lines about not feeling safe, hints that someone had been bothering her, and one final post days before her death that simply read, "Sometimes the ones closest to you hide the darkest truths." Investigators began to suspect that Lily's life was more complicated than her bright exterior suggested. Her phone records became a vital tool. They revealed late-night calls with her boyfriend, as well as exchanges with an unknown number that had been deleted shortly before she died. Detectives worked quickly to restore the missing data, believing it could unlock the mystery of who lured Lily away that night. At the same time, grief turned to fear within the town. Parents worried their own children could be targeted next, while reporters crowded the streets, painting the case as a chilling story of innocence destroyed. The police emphasized caution, but privately admitted the case was already far more tangled than expected. Lily's disappearance from a party she should have been safe at, Her cryptic posts and her unsettling end in the woods pointed to a truth hidden in plain sight, one that would force investigators to question not just strangers but the people Lily trusted most. Detectives turned their attention to the people closest to Lily, beginning with those who had seen her last. Her boyfriend was at the top of the list. Not only because of their known argument that night but also because patterns in cases like this often pointed inward rather than outward. Friends at the party confirmed the two had exchanged sharp words in front of others. He admitted they had fought but insisted he had gone home alone and had no contact with her after she stormed out. Despite his alibi, the tension between them placed him under a cloud of suspicion that was hard to ignore. Investigators pressed further, combing through his phone records, messages, and movements, searching for any inconsistency that might reveal deception. At the same time, another unsettling lead emerged. Lily's phone contained fragments of communication with an older man who had been reaching out online. The messages hinted at promises of modeling opportunities and fast success temptations that could easily lure someone ambitious and hopeful like Lily. The man's identity, however, was vague. He used multiple profiles, each with slightly different names and photos, making it clear he had something to hide. For police, this raised the terrifying possibility that Lily had left the party not to clear her head after a fight but to meet someone dangerous. Forensic teams returned to the wooded area where Lily's body was found, meticulously analyzing every overlooked detail. What at first appeared to be meaningless tire marks now became critical. Specialists determined they belonged to a mid-sized vehicle, possibly a van or SUV, leading to the theory that Lily had been transported after she was incapacitated. If she had willingly entered a car that night, it meant she trusted the driver, or at least did not feel threatened at first. This revelation deepened the mystery, complicating the theory of a random predator. Meanwhile, the media frenzy only grew. News outlets aired nightly updates speculating wildly about boyfriends, strangers, and secret lives. The town's once peaceful streets became swarmed with reporters and true crime enthusiasts, hoping to glimpse the place where the tragedy had unfolded. Underneath the sensational coverage, investigators remained cautious, aware that each theory carried weight, but also danger if they jumped to conclusions too quickly. As leads multiplied, the case began to feel less like a straightforward investigation and more like a labyrinth of lies, half-truths, and carefully concealed motives. Whoever was responsible for Lily's death had gone to great lengths to erase their trail, but detectives knew that somewhere among her closest connections lay the key to unraveling the truth. Weeks passed with little progress, but then the investigation took a turn that unsettled even the most experienced detectives. Forensic results from the autopsy revealed details that shifted the entire direction of the case. Lily had not died in the woods where her body was discovered. Instead, she had been moved there afterward, suggesting a deliberate attempt to mislead investigators. Even more alarming was the discovery of sedatives in her system. The levels indicated she had been incapacitated before her death, pointing toward premeditation rather than a sudden act of violence. This revelation shattered earlier theories of a spontaneous argument gone wrong and forced detectives to confront the possibility that Lily had been carefully targeted. Attention turned once more to her digital footprint. Specialists recovered deleted messages from her phone, and what they found peeled back layers of a hidden story. Lily had been in constant contact with someone she trusted, someone who had been at the party that night. The messages hinted at betrayal, jealousy, and a meeting planned after she walked out of the gathering. The most unsettling part was that the sender wasn't a mysterious older man or a stranger, it was one of her closest friends. This revelation shifted suspicion from outsiders to her inner circle, people who had been grieving publicly but might secretly hold the answers. Investigators interviewed those who knew Lily best, comparing their statements to the new information. Inconsistencies began to emerge. A friend who claimed to have gone straight home after the party was shown through phone data to have been near the area where Lily's body was found hours later. Another detail stood out. A blanket discovered not far from the scene, partially buried under leaves, carried traces of fibers matching items from this same friend's house. The pieces of the puzzle, once scattered, were beginning to form a chilling picture of trust betrayed. The community reacted with disbelief as whispers spread about the possibility of someone so close to Lily being involved. Neighbors who had once rallied together now eyed each other with suspicion. Parents questioned their children, terrified at the idea that the danger might have come not from a faceless predator but from within their own social circles. For detectives, the case had crossed into deeply unsettling territory. It was no longer just about finding who was responsible, it was about uncovering how far jealousy and resentment could drive someone who had once been considered family. The breakthrough came when investigators pieced together the evidence from the recovered messages, the blanket fibers, and the location data. All signs pointed to Lily's best friend, Emily Hayes. At first glance, Emily had been one of the most devastated by Lily's death. She appeared on television interviews, her voice trembling as she begged for justice, her eyes filled with tears. But behind the display of grief, detectives uncovered a carefully hidden truth. For weeks before Lily's death, Emily had been growing increasingly bitter. Friends recalled subtle arguments, envious remarks, and small moments of tension that, in hindsight, painted a picture of deep-seated resentment. When police searched Emily's home, the evidence was undeniable. A bottle of prescription sedatives, half empty and hidden in a drawer, matched the chemicals found in Lily's system. Further testing revealed the fingerprints on the discarded blanket belonged to Emily, confirming she had been with Lily in her final moments. Surveillance footage from a gas station near the woods showed Emily's car driving past late that night, despite her earlier claim that she went straight home from the party. The carefully crafted alibi she had clung to fell apart piece by piece. The motive became clearer as investigators dug deeper. Emily had always lived in Lily's shadow. While Lily was admired for her beauty, creativity, and confidence, Emily often felt overlooked. Their friendship had been a mix of loyalty and rivalry, a complicated bond built on years of closeness but also unspoken competition. The night of the party, Emily convinced Lily to leave with her, promising to help her clear her head after the argument with her boyfriend. Instead, she drove Lily to a secluded location, where she used the sedatives to incapacitate her. Exactly what happened next remained shrouded in mystery, but the outcome was tragically clear: Lily never woke up. When confronted with the evidence, Emily's carefully constructed facade crumbled. Investigators described her as calm at first, then trembling as she realized the trail of proof was undeniable. The town, which had spent weeks fearing an unknown predator, now struggled to process the shocking truth. The killer had not been a stranger at all, but Lily's closest friend. Parents, neighbors, and classmates were left reeling, unable to comprehend how envy could twist into such devastating betrayal. What had begun as a terrifying mystery in the woods ended with a chilling reminder that sometimes the darkest dangers come not from outsiders, but from those who smile the closest.